Salutations, everyone. Salamander here. And in this episode, we are going to talk a little bit more about the predator category of Hadal dimension creature, as I essentially briefed over them in the chapter 1 video. So I wanted to, I guess, describe them a little bit more in depth so you have a better idea as to how they work. So basically, the predator category is for any carnivorous organism or multicellular organism that came through a rift and is thus within, say, our dimension. This can range from a singular individual to an entire, I guess, family or group or population. Um, and this has happened. This is essentially 90% of every uh, Hadal dimension creature that enters through a rift or any opening period. And this is due to Hadal dimension creatures being on such a completely other level of evolution that even the most simplest form of organism has a rather surprising and reasonable amount of intelligence. So most of these mere meager animals or carnivores actually have the capacity to understand that them entering through a rift and going to the other side is going to essentially allow them to feast on a whole bunch of easy prey. As I described in the chapter 1 video, that Hadal dimension creatures cannot be killed or, yeah, they can't be killed by anything that isn't from their dimension. So this means that even something as simple as a predator, while they aren't a complete, like, 100% you're guaranteed to, be put on a newspaper type headline, they if they decide that you look like food, there isn't any way you're gonna stop them. Now, this should a predator decide that you look like food, even then it's still not like 100% guaranteed you're gonna die. I'm sorry again, that you're gonna die. What you can do is essentially be such a pain in the behind, or pretty much so annoying, that the creature, or the predator in this case, decides that you're not even worth its time and effort to go after, and it would rather go after something where it's not going to have to waste or expend too much energy. This is, in fact, something that we see in modern day on certain alien planets where rifts have opened and predators have entered through these rifts and would try to attack certain uh, alien organisms who managed to put up such a reasonable fight that it actually deterred the predator from actually expending any more energy from hunting it when there's so much more easier prey around. Um, Predators are, like I said before, they're reasonably intelligent, so they are very tricky to deal with, as you're not exactly going to be able to trap one. It's not impossible, but it's, again, incredibly difficult and not recommended, as they can hold grudges and will quite literally rip you apart and disembowel you brutally, by the way, if you really uh, get them mad or piss them off. Some predators might be a bit more territorial than others. Um, Now, A thing to note is that should there be two predators that are of different species that essentially coincidentally end up on the that enter a rift and end up on the same planet within some other dimension, they will actually not exactly attack each other or try to kill each other and would merely essentially, I guess you could say, establish boundaries. So a lot of it would probably be more of chasing the other off or trying to steal the other's kill that they had acquired. It would be, I guess, a bit more similar to real animals of our planet, except it would 99% of the time not escalate to violence, or at least anything that would be brutal. Now, of course, I said 99% because it's still not a 100% guarantee, but this is essentially kind of how, for the same reasons as I described, a macro hunter deciding to give up on a chase. In that, if they're not going to waste their energy fighting each other when they're surrounded by a bunch of stuff that they can just go easily hunt. It's all about what just so happens to be least energy taxing, if that makes any sense. And mac predators are kind of a in a there's a infinite number of possibilities with them, and these are the kinds of creatures that have kind of I guess the ethereal abilities that are, while they are pretty strange, like um mimicry of objects or teleportation and whatnot, it's relatively speaking more mundane, as predators usually aren't going to have the ethereal capability of teleporting from planet to planet, as there isn't exactly a need for it, though this isn't completely impossible, but 90% of the time it's usually just going to be more so a go to probably like a teleportation that's limited to a couple 100-mile radius or so. As an example, predators are definitely they are, I guess you could say, they're a good in between of el of nightmarish horror and just average normal animal. So as terrifying as they usually are, they aren't by any means a monster, as again, you can make one just decide it doesn't want to eat you unless you do something that actually makes it actively feel motivated to end you. They are an animal at the forefront, and it's I guess it's somewhat of an interesting concept when you think about it. I kind of wanted them to feel, at least this category of Hadal Dimension creature, feel a bit more like something that's a little bit more grounded and yet still absolutely absurd. But yeah, that should just about wrap up everything about predators. There's not really too much to talk about them, as they're basically just carnivores with mysterious abilities. That is pretty much all they are. But I hope that, you know, having me go a little bit more in depth about them was was somewhat interesting and enjoyable. And I will see you all in the next one. Goodbye.